Welcome back to Iron Infidel, everybody. And I know the title of this video was a little weird because it says stop buying Glock, and then all you saw me shoot was this Glock right here. Now, there's a specific reason for that, and I really want you to hear me out, but we're indoors again because I had to refilm this video. So this video was up, it was done, it was ready to roll, and then Gaston Glock actually passed away in the past several days. So for that reason, I wanted to kind of refilm this so you guys didn't think this was a jab at him or anything like that. It was just bad timing. But I don't think that anyone out there can say that Gaston Glock didn't like revolutionize modern pistols, because since he came out with the Glock pistol, so many things in that world has changed. It's been one of the most proven, durable, and reliable pistols out there on the market. And I think that's definitely something that we have all been able to reap the benefits of. So for that reason, like I said, I wanted to refilm this. But let's talk about why I labeled the video Stop Buying Glocks. Another thing I want you all to know is I have a love-hate relationship with Glocks. I love me some Glocks. You have probably seen this one right here on this channel before, and there is nothing bad I can say about this, but you can see there is a lot of different things done to that. But the point of this video is because I want you all, or just people in general, to stop treating Glock as a default purchase for no reason at all other than somebody told you to buy it, or some obscure unit in the military or law enforcement is using it, because I've been in both those career fields before. And there's just a lot out there in the world, and Glock might not be the right fit for you. And one of the most important things about buying a pistol or even a rifle is fitting this thing to you. Is it natural? Does it aim naturally? Do the ergonomics work for you? Can you even reach the trigger or the controls for the magazine release, the slide stop slide release? Can you even manipulate that pistol? Because this Glock 45 may be great for somebody like me, but for somebody who has severe wrist injuries or shorter fingers or smaller hands, or maybe a little bit of arthritis where they're just getting up there in their age, may not be able to run and manipulate this pistol as good as they probably could if it were something else. And for me, when I'm working with somebody new, or I'm training somebody, or out there just having fun with friends, or when somebody asks me, there's really three things that I think about when it comes to choosing a pistol. And those three things are going to be controllability, ergonomics, and size. Now, there is more to it than that, but those are three large kind of gross categories that are really going to make a huge difference on whether or not a Glock or an M&P or a Walther PDP is going to be the best pistol for you. Now, when it comes to controllability, that not only has to do with the caliber you go with, whether it's a 45, 9, 38 Super, whatever you want to go with out there, 380, but it also has to do with your strength and ability to actually control the pistol under that recoil impulse. There are things that can help you out, like this radian compensator on here, but ultimately, if you choose a 45 and you have very, I guess, not strong hands, I don't want to call anybody weak, and you're out there and this thing is just flying in the air, that may be fun for you, but that's not really the best way to run a pistol. It also comes down to your ability to actually manipulate this thing, run the slide, run the controls, and be able to get your grip in there solid and keep your grip in there solid. So controllability is just huge, because that's going to affect your accuracy, it's going to affect your follow-up shots and your overall proficiency with the pistol, and just your ability to be able to run it and be proficient at running it, whether it's magazine exchanges, you know, working the slide stop slide release, being able to release it, being able to get back in there, run the trigger faster, reacquire your master grip faster. And that is what I'm talking about when it comes to the controllability. And next up is going to be ergonomics. And so many people overlook this and they just default to a certain brand or something that somebody told them to buy. Now, what do I mean by ergonomics? Take a Glock, for example, that's got a much more aggressive grip angle, okay? That may or may not fit the natural angles of your body, your wrists, and injuries and arthritis and all of those things can come into play. But when it comes to ergonomics, you want to be able to close your eyes, press that pistol out, open your eyes, and those sights should be perfectly aligned with equal height and equal light. Now, when it comes to the Glock, because of that grip angle, usually when people press out, the muzzle's really high and they have to force their wrist, you know, in an angle like this, down and forward, to actually get a really solid grip and a solid firing position. Now, I don't know about you, but forcing my wrist down and forward like that, it's not really comfortable anymore. But there are pistols that have interchangeable back straps like the Glock. M&P, PDP, all those pistols out there have that. That can be a help to you. Another thing to think about is, can you reach the controls? Now, ergonomically, a Glock is easy for me because I've got larger hands. If you've got smaller hands, you may not be able to reach the magazine release, the slide stop slide release, and you might even have trouble reaching that trigger if you've got smaller and shorter hands. So the ergonomics are extremely important because you're gonna get a lot of benefit out of having a pistol that fits you, like better accuracy, better speed, higher confidence level, more proficiency faster, so you're not wasting time and ammo out on the range. And overall, if you have a pistol that works for you, whoever your instructor is gonna have a lot easier time getting you up to speed and taking you to the next level in your skills. And the last of the big three is going to be size. Now, I know a lot of people out there can only afford one pistol, so you might have to kind of choose one that's a little bit more all-around usable for outside the waistband training, duty carry, and then also concealed carry, something like a Glock 19, M&P compact, PDP compact. We've got so many options out there. We're just really living in a golden age when it comes to pistols. Now, size is huge because if you look at the size of that pistol compared to the size of my hand, it's pretty easy for me to run a full-size Glock, an extra, 34, big 2011s, things like that. But if you don't have big hands, things can get really weird if you try to run a really big pistol. Now, if you think about this, if you're shooting something really thick and large, take a Glock 21, which is a 45 caliber, and you've got smaller hands or shorter fingers, you may have a really hard time reaching the trigger. You may have a really hard time reaching that magazine release, and you might have to really break your grip like this, activate the magazine release, and then turn the gun back, reacquire your grip. And that's gonna take more time, more practice, and you're ultimately not going to be as proficient. Now, you can get it done like that, but that might not be the right fit for you. And on the converse side of that, if you get something that's really, really small with size hands like mine, you can have the same problem. It might be really hard to get your finger in the trigger guard. The trigger might be too far back for you. You might have a really hard time trying to get to the magazine release and the slide stop slide release because you're having to bring your thumb like way back here. So having a pistol that's too big or too small can really have a detrimental effect on your accuracy, your speed, and your ability to just proficiently run the pistol. Now, we do have a ton of sizes out there. You've got everything from full size, compact, subcompact, slimline, micro compact. You're really going to be able to, pick the size you want to go with, but you've got to pick something that you can effectively run out there time and time again in adrenaline fueled situations, whether it's out there on the range in competition or out there in real life. And again, I have nothing against the Glock pistol. I have carried one and trusted my life to a Glock hundreds of days out there on duty in my personal life, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with them if it is the right fit for you. Now let's talk about what you actually have to gain if you fit a pistol or choose a pistol that fits you better. The first thing is going to be that natural point of aim and your ability to almost subconsciously run that pistol once you get trained up on it. If you pick the right one, all of those things are going to be a lot easier, which is going to pay off in your skills, abilities, accuracy, speed, and again, save you time and money on the range. Next up, you are just gonna have a better overall experience, both physically and mentally, if you choose the right pistol. If you have to contort your hand or wrist to run this thing out there all day, you're probably gonna go home sore and you're not going to be too happy. Where on the other side of that is if you pick the right pistol, you're gonna be more proficient, you're gonna have a better state of mind, you're gonna be more confident, and you're gonna have those skills and abilities that you can count on should the time ever come. The last one here is huge, and that is your confidence in your equipment. So for my time in the military or law enforcement, I've been issued gear on numerous occasions where I had less than zero confidence in that. And then I went out and purchased my own equipment to run because I had to ensure that my confidence in that equipment was at the highest point it could possibly be. Ultimately, because something works for somebody out there in the world, whether they work at a store, or they're in law enforcement or the military, doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And I really want you to explore your options so you don't waste time, money, or your experience out there on the range, because your experience is part of owning, firing a pistol, competition, all the good things you can do out there. And the better that can be, the better you're going to be with your chosen equipment. Now, I want to know honestly in the comments down below, did you default to a Glock and did you move on to something else like a Walther or a HK or a SIG or anything else that's out there in the market today? Or did you start with something else and end on a Glock? Because that can go both ways. There's nothing wrong. I'm just really curious to know where people are in their journey with handguns. Did they start somewhere and end somewhere else? Or are they just steady Eddie with that same brand? Well, that's what I've got for you all today on the video here on the Iron Infidel channel. Make sure you check out the website, ironinfidel.com, if you're looking for that sweet swag, fitness gear, or of course, the battle bottles, because I need you to stay hydrated and I need you to stay healthy out there on the range so you can keep doing it. And I will see you all in the next one.